Stars of Dreamworld and Beyond. Chapter 4. The Livid Jungle. Mark stopped by the gate to look at the lush jungle in front of him. The Livid Jungle, home of the Monix. "We will find one without a doubt," said Mark, clutching an optimistic yet determined fist. "Hey guys, wait for us!" cried a voice from behind. They looked behind them to see two young ladies and a young man running towards them. Well, if it isn't the rest of the knights. The knights greeted each other with hugs and pats on the shoulder. Right here's Hushal. Over there are Poe and his ride Demethan, next to Alyssa and her ride Tyrene. Nathan, Our Lady calls me the Roaring Wave. Wendy, Our Lady named me the Wielder of Dawn. Hello there, I'm Reem, Voice of the Morning. Now that we got to know one another, let's march to the far end of the jungle up north and hopefully find ourselves a Monix to capture. Hushal and his party marched onwards into the jungle. After a minute's walk, they found themselves in a split path lane, one heading east and the other west. It seems that the jungle's path is split into two. Before we continue on forward, allow me to explain a few things about this jungle. The reason my sister and I didn't want you to pass is because there are many rookie riders in this jungle. Yeah, and those rascals are very competitive. They take over spots and won't allow anyone to pass without paying a fee or winning a match against them. Poe and I usually defeat them with ease, and they squirm away. We were worried you would be unaware and enter the jungle only to be bothered by the rookies. I would suggest we split into two groups. While the two paths are about the same distance, one of them surely has less rookies camping than the other. If we split, one team will reach the top faster than the other. They can begin their search for the Monix until the other team catches up. Then everyone should proceed with caution. I will lead the first group west, and Hushal will lead the second group east. I want to join Hushal's group, said Reem. So will I, said Samuel. Hushal's group for me, said Irene. I choose Hushal as well, said Nathan. You wouldn't mind if I join Hushal as well, would you? Said Wendy. I will join Hushal's group as well, while Poe will join Mark's group. It's always a good idea to have a rider with you around this jungle, said Alyssa. Then it has been settled. We will see you at the far end of the jungle. Take care, everyone. Alright, Hushal, lead us to the Monix. Hushal and his group headed east and continued onward. The greenery here is spectacular. I can only imagine what wonderful creatures this jungle has. Tyrene suddenly stopped hovering and placed its legs on the ground. What is it, Tyrene? You over there, leave this area right now, said a voice coming from ahead. Three boys came towards Hushal and his group, two of them riding bear-like creatures while the third was riding a large horned bird. We don't want to take this area from you, we just want to pass through to reach the end of the jungle, said Alyssa. I don't know where your friends' rides are, but just because they're roaming the jungle rideless doesn't fool us, said the first boy. We won't let you pass without a hefty fee, so you better go back to where you came from if you ain't paying, said the second boy. We fought long and hard for this area and we earned it with sweat and tears. We won't budge 1 inch, said the third boy. Fine then, we challenge you to a battle. If we win, you let us pass and you keep your lousy area. If we lose, we will head back to where we came from, said Alyssa. Deal. Greg, Thompson, let's show them who owns this jungle. You got it, Gavin, said the two boys. Do you want to stand as a referee, Samuel? Asked Irene. I want to prove to you that I can battle, said Samuel. Fair enough, then I will stand as a referee, said Reem. Samuel, Alyssa and I will defeat them with ease, said Irene. The battle between Team Samuel and Team Gavin will begin shortly. Let the two teams take their places, announced Reem. Samuel, Irene, and Alyssa and Tyrene stood on one side, while the three boys stood facing them from a distance. The rest spectated the battle from afar. Each member will have 1,000 points. Once your points reach 0, you're out of the battlefield. The team that loses all of its members first will lose the match, said Reem looking at the multivice. A coin will be flipped to decide which team makes the first move. Team Gavin, which side do you pick? We pick heads, said Gavin. A large coin appeared out of nowhere and was flipped in the middle of the battlefield. It landed on tails. Team Samuel will make the first move, announced Reem. Alright, Hushal, you've led us to victory last time. What do you suggest we do? Asked Samuel. Hushal and Reem took a look at the multivice. Hushal, allow me to give a brief overview of everyone's attack. Samuel's attack deals 600 damage and leaves the target poisoned. A poison fighter will lose 300 HP after executing an attack, and moves that heal HP will only heal half their amount. Alyssa and Tyrene will damage an entire line with 700, but will lose 400 HP afterwards. Irene's attack is pretty much self-explanatory. Thompson's attack leaves the target frozen. A frozen fighter's attack will only deal half its damage. Gavin's attack is straightforward as well. Lastly, Greg's attack leaves the target burned. A burned fighter will receive double damage when attacked. Using the multivice, Hushal instructed Samuel to use Ivy Blade on Gavin. "Great thinking, Hushal," said Samuel. "My Ivy Blade is sharper than a serpent's tooth," said Samuel as a large ivy leaf appeared around his hand. The leaf shined and its sides curled up, forming a blade to which Samuel slashed Gavin with. Gavin lost 600 points and has 400 points remaining, announced Dream. Green bubbles appeared around Gavin and spooled up, only to disappear moments later. Gavin has been afflicted with the poison condition. If he attacks, he will lose 300 HP, explained Nathan. Team Samuel's turn is over. Team Gavin, make your move, announced Dream. "Piercing Horn, land heads, will ya?" said Gavin. A coin was flipped in the middle of the battlefield and it landed heads before disappearing. The horn on Gavin's right shined as it punctured into Irene, pushing her back significantly. Irene lost 700 points and has 300 points left, announced Dream. Green bubbles spewed around Gavin and his right, causing them both to flinch. Gavin lost 300 points due to his poison condition and has 100 points left, announced Dream. It's now Team Samuel's turn to make their move. "Guide us to victory, Hushal," said Irene. Using the multivice, Hushal instructed Alyssa and Irene to use Heavy Clash. "We'll show them, Hushal! Heavy Clash, let's go!" Alyssa clutched Irene closely as the two charged at their opponent's side with full force, crashing onto the ground violently. All members of Team Gavin lost 700 points, announced Dream. Greg and Thompson stand at 300 points each, while Gavin lost all of his points and is out of the field. "We will get you next time," said Gavin before leaving the battlefield with his ride. Alyssa and Irene hovered above the ground, both looking somewhat exhausted. Alyssa and Irene lost 400 points as an aftermath of their attack and have 600 points remaining. "Team Gavin, make your move." "Burning Pow, go," said Greg. Greg and his ride charged towards Alyssa and Irene and struck them with its Burning Pow. Alyssa and Irene lost 600 points and have 0 points remaining. They are out of the battlefield. "Our battle is over, but our passion goes on," said Alyssa as she and Irene left the battlefield. "Team Gavin's turn is over. It's Team Samuel's turn," announced Dream. Using the multivice again, Hushal instructed Irene to use Storm Belt. "Good choice, Hushal," said Irene. She lifted her horn and blew into it, releasing a tune. A couple of rampaging tornadoes swept through Team Gavin's side of the field. "Greg and Thomas are out of points. They are disqualified and out of the battlefield," announced Dream. "This stinks," said Greg, leaving the battlefield with his ride. "We did our best," said Thompson, leaving the battlefield with his ride. "Team Gavin has no eligible fighters. Team Samuel wins the match," announced Dream. "We will honor Our Lady till we breathe our last breath," said Samuel and Irene. "There you have it, we won fair and square. Now let us pass." "The deal was that you may pass, this area is still ours to keep," said Gavin. "Keep your lousy area, we have better things to do," said Alyssa, sticking her tongue out. Hushal and his group continued to walk towards the jungle's end. Samuel walked to Hushal's side and the two were slightly behind their group.
"Hey Hushal, thank you for guiding our team to victory. I don't know if it's obvious or not to you from the age gap between me and the other knights, but I've only been a knight recently compared to them. The other knights have known each other for a far longer time than I have known them. They have been trained and taught combat and knighthood by Our Lady for many years. They were 7 knights from the beginning, but one knight didn't make it. I was told Our Lady cherished him so much. She treated all her knights as her children, but I was told that my predecessor was her favorite. Mosaic, the flames of passion she called him. She mourned his death greatly, and so did the other knights. One day I received word that Our Lady has called for me. I had no house, no family, no wealth, and no business in being a knight, but she called me by name. She named me her new knight, and I was trained by her hands and by the hands of my fellow knights."
He paused for a moment with a face that showed unease and melancholy.
"But I can't help but wonder. I wonder if I will ever be as good as my predecessor was. I wonder if I will make Our Lady and my fellow knights just as proud as he did."
He then shook his head and looked at Hushal with a determined look.
"But I made a promise to myself, that I will do whatever it takes to bring them pride. I will make sure I do my duty as a knight and maintain peace and justice wherever it is needed."
"Onwards, you two, we have a Monix to capture," said Nathan. Hushal and Samuel caught up with the rest, and they readied themselves to journey onward into the jungle.